guy at 231 across the DFS industry, and it's a hell of a Saturday for a lot of the members at FSI. Had two guys get close to a takedown of the main 15, split second, another in third and sixth, a couple more in the top 10, top 15 that were sweating it until clean sheets. So those are like the most amazing days, not only as like a content provider and somebody that tries to help, but just to experience kind of a lot of people sweating out some big wins. So congrats to all those guys that were there. I hope that even if you weren't in chat, that the video that Lee and I did yesterday helped. I think we nailed a ton of the picks. Probably the one guy that we discredited a little bit that ended up in both of Lee and I's lines was Mbabu. And a big reason was, all the stud defenders that we were expecting to be in, none of them were in. So Mbabu was probably the most, I'd say, open, attacking type of fullback on the slate. And with the forward values that we talked about last time, just opened it up where you had a chance to get him. Like I ended up playing Kostic and Arnold together. Just a lot of like kind of cut and dry plays, and that's the type of slate that you love to see when it all comes together. The FSI core, just so y'all know, was Caligari, who not somebody that we would have been on, but with no Ozzipica, whatever his name is. He was going to be on all the sets for Schalke, was sport eligible. So even though he was kind of crap, he made a lot of sense, was very chalk and cash. At midfield was Dorita, who I think was the free square of the slate. And then our core defender was Mbabu, who scored the goal. And I really catapulted all of our guys to the top. And then they could choose Kostic or Arnold or play both. Gave them the forward values. Also mentioned Miranda, who's playing wing back for Schalke, who I think put up like 14 or 15 DK for 4K. Pekarik was in the chat. Like a lot of picks were on top of things. So it felt really good. Hopefully we can do it again tomorrow. I'll tell you, Sunday slate is kind of crap. That's the way to sell a video, right? Start off by saying, hey, what I'm going to talk about for the next 5-10 minutes is complete crap. But it's a really tough slate. We got Dortmund is about a -300 road favorite. Again, we don't really want to take too much like home field advantage right now with no crowd. I think Gladbach is home, -200. So those are the two sides versus two really seller teams. We're only going to be like one guy that we're really going to target. From those, let's just kind of jump into the construction, some of the top plays, and we'll get out of here. Also, I've already gotten Twitter messages. Yes, I'm planning to do a Super League video tomorrow for Monday slate. I'm still getting used to the players. I'm not going to pretend to sit here and know those guys like the back of my hand. But, one thing hopefully you've seen with me in soccer, and just maybe as you're getting used to soccer in general, is it's the same concepts no matter what leagues we go. We're looking for the guys that are on the majority of sets, wide players that love to cross, and then just really try to target good teams versus bad. I mean, it's pretty elementary stuff, but once you get the hang of it, soccer's a hell of a sweat. So that said, let's jump into the player pool. So I am going to argue that the single biggest decision on the slate and the most important thing for your builds is what are you going to do with Jadon Sancho. So since return, so I guess he was dealing with like a calf injury during the COVID break, and he came in out of shape. Calf's still nagging on him. I'm not going to pretend to be like a Jadon Sancho truther, but those that are like close to him say that he is overweight. He's lost a step or two, and he's a player that really, really relies on pace. Now, I'll also say this: like even if he starts, so he immediately goes on like at least half the corners and a lot of the free kicks. But without Haaland's already been rolled out. There's not a target man. I think the center forward is going to be Götze, who's like 5'8" in cleats. So it's not like he's going to be servicing like balls in the air. It's a lot of like very straightforward ground passes that DK isn't going to reward. So I really do think that he's going to become very, very goal centered. Maybe he has an 8 to 10 floor without a goal or assist, but at 11-2, especially with how tight the pricing is in this slate, it's really hard. So I'm leaning towards a fade right now at this point for Classic. Could change by next time, but I think I would much prefer to kind of go and save 2,000 for Playa. He's coming off a terrible game, but he still has 70 shots on the season, so he's averaging about 3-4 shots a game. Goal upside, they are a huge home dog. especially like if he's like a lone striker. So last game they played a wingback system. He was up top of Thuram, and it just didn't look very good. So if he can get back to kind of that 4-2-3-1 where he's getting all the service, I think that 9,200, while it's kind of steep, I think I prefer it to Sancho, which, maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out, but that's how I kind of feel. So Thuram gives you a $700 discount. Love the player. Another French player that came over from Ligue 1. It's been awesome for them. Also liked one of my tweets, so shout out to him. But 8,500, I think, is really just fine. Like, maybe it's a little steep, but everything's gonna be a little steep. From there's Götze. So, it's a false nine. So like Haaland gets all the service, right? But like when Marco Reus was playing the position, he was like the pivot player. Almost everything went through him. Now Reus and Götze are not even in the same ballpark anymore. But it's not that false nine for Dortmund is really going to be like a service provider. I don't think it necessarily gives them all of a sudden like a 4 or 5 shot floor. So it's kind of steep, but it's still a quality player on a big favorite. So I think he may be popular. When you go down from him, you get to the Proger Antwi Adeje, affectionately known as the Dash by me. If you go ahead and you plug Proger in, and he's for some reason not in, we saw last week, or what was it, Thursday, Antwi Adeje took all the sets, so you always can go down. But if you plug it into Adeje, he's not in, and Proger is, or Proger is in, you're kind of screwed. So whenever I'm building, I prefer to do that. Then I can upgrade a punt because we're gonna have plenty of Dortmund at the end. So I think that's the safe route. Considering their sets, I just don't know how much of the ball they're going to be able to get against Dortmund. A high press team that really can just dominate a game. Once you get past them, this is just gross. If for some reason that in the first game we see, one of these punts in, I don't think like Raphael would play. I still remember him, like the first time I ever saw him was like an in-form card on FIFA Ultimate Team. I want to say it's like FIFA 16 was probably the last time he was in form. But that said, like if we see somebody like that, I'm probably plugging them because forward really is that tough. Now, going over to the midfield, I think the two easiest plays, and I'll just go ahead and give them out because they're going to be like 80%. I think most people, especially in cash, just go Hakimi, Guerrero. Take the two wingbacks who, let's be real, like they are like the center of the attack, especially when Sancho isn't right for Dortmund. They bomb down and they're like wingers more so than like wing backs. There's not much crossing, but there's plenty of fouls drawn. Because of like the pressing type of system, they get a ton of tackles, ton of interceptions, and then like Guerrero is going to be on some set piece duty. So I think those two are pretty easy. It's funny, DK takes me away from midfield because I do that. I do think that Hoffman, is worth a look. Like he's on most of the sets for Hoffenheim. Problem is outside of that, like what else does he really do? A shot occasionally, but he's not like a guy that's taking on a ton of people, drawing a lot of fouls. It's mostly like crosses, so you're really like relying on him to be part of the goal. Julian Brandt at 6,900, I think is fine. I guess the big issue is will he start? I think he's the most likely to lose his spot over Sancho, for Sancho, I should say. But if I'm wrong on Götze, maybe Brandt starts on the right, Hazard through the middle, or Brandt through the middle, Hazard on the right, or they're just going to interchange a ton. I don't know. None of them are like true strikers. Götze is like the most like central type of guy. So Newhouse had a hell of a game last time, but if Hoffman's in, his value's ruined. Go down, Gio Reyna, maybe he gets a start. I don't think you can rely on that. At 6,000, I don't think the price is having you do it. I don't think it fits anywhere. Dennis would be the awesome guy to see him in. Like if he's in unlocking, I've been wanting to play Dennis since Bundesliga happened. It was a guy that I early in the season attacked in Europa League. Quality player. I don't really know why he's not in the side. I'm not going to pretend to be a Gladdenbeck truther. But is a solid young player. 4,900 would be like one of those values that we really do need. Rest of these guys, maybe Witzel gets a start. Considering what's his name? It's like Dumont. I'm butchering it. Let me see if I can find it. Just so I don't look like a complete and utter idiot. Can't find, but the other holding midfielder for Dortmund, there we go. Where is it? Dahoud. He's out for the year. Sofa has him predicted to start, which is quite funny, but he's out for the season. So maybe Witzel gets in. That's who subbed in for him. Or maybe they go Emre Can and Delaney in the middle, something like that. Like, none of those guys are players you want to target, but if you just go, hey, you know, I want to get a little bit of Dortmund, I think they're going to score 3-4 goals, maybe one gets an assist, go for it. Let's see any of the midfielder. I mean, everybody else, like, there's no set takers here. I guess if Tremel's gone, you might see, who is it? Is Genter, I think, has taken some. I don't know. Like, that's not like where I'm trying to rest my money on. Speaking of defender, I think Tremel is by far the highest score play at the defender position, despite being a dog. 36 crosses since we came back, 12 in each game, including Bayern Munich. So despite not being a great matchup, the slate from a cash perspective or a floor perspective is really, really, really tough. So, you know, being able to lock in 8 to 12 crosses, you know, with shot assist upside, a few tackles, and all the sets, I think makes a lot of sense. So I do think he'll be exceedingly popular. Ben Sabani, I mean, if you want to go for the PK goal, that's great. But if not, you know, 2 to 4 crosses for 6,500 is brutal. Wendt is in, so he took a majority of the sets last week. But, you know, I do think Hoffman's back. But if in, probably becomes maybe a play even over Tremel. Still has a high floor, especially as a wing back. And from there, you know, defender sucks. Like, it was nice midweek having Ryerson at 2,500 as a wingback. That was a pretty easy plug and play, but 4,200, no thanks. Goalie, just if you don't know by now, don't ask me on goalie. I'm probably going to punt down because I just don't see you having a ton of salary. But if you have the salary, Berkey and Summer both have a very, very solid chance at a clean sheet and win if they're solid favorites. So go for it. Well, I hope this helps. Please, if you didn't already, hit subscribe, bottom right. You guys have no idea how much it helps. We're really trying to crank up this content, give you guys some good info. So please do that. Share with a friend. And if you haven't already jumped in, soccer memberships FSI are only $5. We cover every single slate except for 3:30 Korea slates, but 6 a.m. I'm up and I'm doing it. So join. We'd love to have you. Discord's really fun. Ton of action going on with all the guys in there now. So check it out. There's a link at the bottom. Hope you all have a good day. Good luck tomorrow. Take care.